Yo, what up, y'all? DPS Podcast, episode number 24. We are here. We're back. We apologize for missing a week. It couldn't be helped. But we are back now, and we are definitely going to catch up on everything that we've missed in the past 2 weeks since we've been missing. And first off, we're going to get into it with our homies here. We got a special guest with us, a very prestigious individual here. His name is B Money 101. What's up, bro?
Hey, not much, man. I'm happy to be here. First time on DPS officially. I was hopped on
it was the inaugural. It was before we even did our very first.
But before the first official episode.
The NBA 2K trailer had dropped, and I was like, "Yo, I just wanted to do a live stream and talk about it." I was like, "You know what? Let me see if B Money want to jump in on this." And it turned into like an hour and 30-minute conversation about NBA 2K. So it was like he was like on the inaugural start of not the show itself, but just me live streaming on the channel and stuff, which was really cool.
Yeah. So I'm happy to be here officially, and it looks like we got a lot of great stuff to talk about. So let's get to it, man.
Yeah, we also can kind of talk about some ducking that we've been seeing, some Matrix level moving and shaking and all that. We're gonna get into it, but let me speak to my co-host here. It's been hard to get a hold of this dude over the past week or two, but he is here. And what's up, Gaming Forte?
Yo, man. First of all, shout out to you for holding it down during all of this crazy mess going on the internet over the last couple of weeks. Even though I haven't really been partaking that much in the conversations and stuff, I was like, man, Slow-Mo out here leading a charge that most people don't even know how to even react to. And I'm super proud to be part of a team with you, man, and it's kind of crazy out here, but no, man, it's been good. It's been great. It's good to be back with the fam last night on Brap. Good to be back here with you today. For the people that did not know, your boy came down with some umbrella style virus that we're not going to talk about on this show, and it was rough. It was terrible. And if anybody says that, man, I think I had that thing but one time before, and I just didn't get tested. I'm like, yo, bro, listen, you would know if you had this thing. This thing ain't no joke. And I'm just glad to come through the other end of it, man. But shout out to everybody that gave me love and support, and thanks again for all the good wishes, and good to be back here with you, man.
Yeah, and since you brought that up, I think it's about time that we address something that I've been kind of dreading speaking on it, because it brings up emotions that sometimes it's hard to speak on it. It's hard to speak on it without your voice cracking and breaking and just all that, where you kind of really don't want to even talk about it. But what I am speaking about is that we unfortunately in the past week have lost two people in the community that were not just upstanding individuals, but excellent men in general. And we lost iDizzy81 and Nintendo Guru. And if you weren't aware of these two gentlemen, then it's unfortunate, because you missed out on some excellent individuals. Nintendo Guru ran his own YouTube channel. Great guy. First time I ever saw him was on the Iron Lords podcast as a guest, and just really impressed with his demeanor, his approach to gaming, and his entire attitude of positivity, and with all gamers, regardless of which platform you enjoyed or whatever. He just was an all around cool dude, and it's unfortunate that his life was cut short due to what Forte had alluded to, what this whole pandemic stuff is about, and our homie iDizzy, who a lot of you have interacted with in the chat. If you are familiar, have been always watching my channel, you've seen iDizzy in the comments taking taking shots at me as usual. He used to call himself my number one hater. And great guy. We used to always chop it up. So knowledgeable about the gaming industry. We've had him on. When we did I think episode 14, when we did the live stream and post live stream the VGA Awards. Dizzy was with us for all 3 hours of that, and just the entire time it seemed like he wasn't a guest, like he was just like he was a part of DPS podcast with me and Forte on the regular. It was seamless. It was great. He was a COO of the Lords of Gaming.net website, and check that website out. Excellent website. You're not going to find a better gaming website out there, and it's just unfortunate that we lost 2 men so early in their lives cut short. So definitely wanted to acknowledge that, give tribute to the both of them. They deserve it. And let me pass it on to you guys. Either you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, I'll go again. For me, a lot of the stuff that Dizzy, and I'll start with Guru because I had conversations with Guru. I really didn't get a chance to know him as much as I wanted to. I'm the same way. I knew of him from the Iron Lords when he was on there, and it was like one of the best shows that they had at that moment, and really opened my eyes to his love of like gaming, and I think that's kind of where my overall understanding of where gaming comes from, because it's like we're all fans of something. You know, Nintendo grew up, it's in the name. He's a super fan of Nintendo and everything, but he's very, very he was very, very forthright and letting people know like, yo, every Nintendo got problems too, just like everybody else, and this is the stuff that we need to having these conversations about. And just watching him and watching his love of gaming and stuff really kind of gravitated me a little bit even more to Nintendo. I know I get on Slow-Mo's nerves about it every once in a while, but that's kind of because I listen to people like him, and it lets you know that it's nothing wrong with being a fan of something that may not be the best thing that everybody think is out there. So when it comes to him, I'm definitely sorry I didn't get a chance to know him even better, even more on a professional level, like I did on Dizzy when it comes to like just gaming and podcasting and stuff like that. But when it comes to Dizzy, man, I met Dizzy in I think the Iron Lords have brought so many people to the forefront for me in general. That's why I think they're some of the most stand-up guys that you will ever meet in this industry and stuff. That's why I think it hurts even more that they're hurting, because he was like the closest that you could even be to any of those guys. And I think that's the thing that hurts even more to me. I met Dizzy in the Iron Lords in their the football league that we were running in our fantasy football league. And I gave Dizzy 2 big L's, once in the regular season, once in the playoffs, in the championship game. And he would not let it live down. He was like, yo, man, you just did be bold in these games. And it was like just listening to him have conversations. He talked crap about Tom Brady. Everybody knows I'm a huge Patriot and Tom Brady fan. So he would let me know about that. And it was just a natural conversation. And whenever I would put out a video and I would talk about certain things, or say if I had my gameplay and my camera on, he'll see my Patriot stuff in the background. It's like, this dude's a fraud and all this other stuff. So it was more of a thing that I would just be like, yo, I miss that. Whenever we would do a podcast and Slow-Mo would say something crazy about EA, I'm like, Dizzy gonna show up out of nowhere in about
it wasn't crazy. It wasn't crazy. It was crazy. But I tell you, like Dizzy must have had like some kind of a radar. He had a frostbite radar.
Yeah, he did.
Let somebody say something sideways about the frostbite engine, and then boom, he was there. I mean, remember last time he did it, right? Remember last time he did it? It was it was. I wasn't even talking bad about Frostbite.
No, you were.
I wasn't. I was just saying that, like, I think I was talking about the Snowdrop engine.
We were.
And I was saying how it was like easy to use, and the developers have been like bragging about its ease of use. It is also like, you know, beautiful game. I was like, there's some things out there that look great, but then don't perform that great. I was not even talking about Frostbite, even though it could apply to Frostbite, but I didn't talk about it. All the Dizzy in the chat. Hey.
Hey, watch your next word.
Watch your mouth slow mo. And I'm like, what did that do? but that was Dizzy.
That was Dizzy.
Yeah, man. Don't talk bad about Ark. Don't say a bad word about Ark.
I downloaded, and that's probably my worst thing that I take from this, on top of, you know, other than, you know, and I'm talking about other than just the man himself, but just playing games with him. I actually downloaded Ark to play that with him because I was like, yo, yeah, it's like, he kept talking about it, and he's like, Ark is such a good game. And I was like, it's in Game Pass. You get all the DLC as part of Game Pass too. So I was like, let me download it, man. And then I'm cussing as I'm downloading this thing because it's like 140 gigs. I'm like, yo, why is this download so big? And then I hit him up on Discord, and I see, yo, Dizzy, I got it downloaded when you're trying to play. And this was probably like 3-4 weeks ago. And he said, yeah, whenever you see me on, just let me know. And it's just very unfortunate that I never got a chance to do that. I know Slow Mo shared some stuff yesterday about just, you know, sending Dizzy messages and stuff, and hoping that one day we could just have this conversation all over again. But for me, the man meant more than anything, because he meant more to more people than people think he did. You know, he would be that person that you could just talk to about any and everything, and he would come and support you because you were friends. You were, you know, if you knew Dizzy and Dizzy talked to you on a consistent basis, you weren't just his friend, you were family. And that's the thing that really chokes me up the most, because I feel like, you know, being a person that went through the COVID situation, there's certain things that I just don't want anybody to go through, and that's that. But in his situation, it was just a very heartfelt thing when I heard that he contracted it, and I was like, you know, this is crazy. So we just need to start protecting the people out here we care about the most. You know, that's the one thing, you know, I can say about this. I'm super happy and very relieved that I was able to make it through this, because, you know, I have underlying health issues and stuff too. And it really just comes back to, you never know the people that are going to be affected by the little things that you do in life that you think may be little and trivial. But those little and trivial things are the things that's going to help us keep the people around that we want around the most. And Dizzy was one of those people for me, and I'm super sad that he's not here anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you know, kind of like you said, Forte, you know, the Iron Lords have kind of put the entire community onto a lot of people that we probably weren't aware of. And and in this case, it was Nintendo Guru for me. I didn't cross paths with him other than, you know, seeing him on Iron Lord's show. And, you know, that's kind of when I, you know, took notice to him and started following some of his stuff. But, you know, as far as I've been back on Twitter, probably the last 6 years, 7 years, or whatever it's been, Dizzy has always kind of been around. And, you know, we've crossed paths pretty early. And it felt like, you know, he was just somebody you knew, you know what I mean? Like somebody you grew up with, you know what I mean? Because you could talk to him about anything. And, you know, Battlefield was like our thing, you know. Battlefield was, you know, one of the games that I played pretty heavy, and, you know what I mean, it was something that he was interested in as well. And, you know, that's why anytime, you know, Slow-Mo would be talking about Frostbite engine, you know what I mean, he would get uptight about it, because, you know, Frostbite was built, you know, for Battlefield and in mind. And, you know, that's the whole reason why Frostbite is even around. So, you know what I mean, when you got a love for Battlefield, people talk down on that engine, of course we get a little defensive. But, you know, like I said on Brap yesterday, for a while, I didn't even know that Dizzy was sick. I didn't know that he had cancer at all, because he never made that, something that was on the forefront of his life. He was never one of those guys who was looking for sympathy or looking for people to feel bad for him or get a handout or anything like that. He still lived his life every day like everything was okay. You know what I mean? And you got to applaud him and tip your hat to him for that, because he always was, in good spirits, and every time he would, be going into the hospital, he would always post videos or, as he's coming out, like, yo, I made it through this one, you know what I mean? On to the next one. So, it's definitely sad that, both of these guys are no longer with us. And I know the Iron Lords, they hold him, pretty dear to their hearts because of everything that he was involved in over there. So I feel bad for those guys as well. But like I said yesterday, we got to be able to keep these guys name relevant, because like you guys said, they definitely did touch so many people in the community, and probably more than most people think. So we just got to keep it going. We can't let the legacy go by without kind of being held in a higher regard.
Yeah,
facts. Absolutely.
I agree. I just dropped the GoFundMe. It's in the chat for everybody, for anybody that wants to support Disney.
Are you sure? I don't see it. Okay, I see it now. Yeah, it popped up now.
Yep. Yeah. So if anybody wants to donate to the family, go to that link, and whatever you can give, because it's more than just him. It was the family, his wife, his daughter. I mean, his wife, his son. So do anything you can there. I do know there will be a live stream tomorrow. I will be on that live stream. I think it's going to be at 12 o'clock tomorrow, but look to Cognito and look to Addict. They're going to be putting that all together. If they haven't put anything out on Twitter yet, it will be probably going up in the morning. But I do know we are going to be doing a live stream celebration for Dizzy and Guru tomorrow. So
I'll be on it. I'll be on it too.
Yep.
Yeah. So definitely check that out. I think it's going to be tomorrow at noon.
Yep, that's what I think.
Yeah. So definitely check that out. We're definitely going to. For the way I gathered from Cognito is we're going to, it's going to be a celebration of these men and not awake. We're going to be absolutely talking about the good times with these guys and the great stories that we have, and just really showing everyone what they were all about and who they really were, and really kind of reveling in the memories that we're going to kind of keep with us for the rest of our lives. So yeah, definitely check it out. And let me talk to some of the people in the chat, because I haven't done that yet. What's up, Dravenero? Luca, what's good? Spider 13, Ryan Landis, what's good, bro? Jay the Destroyer, what's good? Doxia and Smiles, how's it going? Smile says bug snacks or bust. Currently we on bust, because
we only bust for another 82 subs.
Yeah, man. Look, I gain a sub, I lose a sub. It's like a tug of war going on, but it is what it is. I guess I'll get there eventually, and I gotta play this trash game. We'll see what happens. But Damien, what's good, man? Racer, what's up? Let's get into these topics here. We've got a nice little list here. I kind of wanted to start first with something that really is, it's pretty current. The Outriders demo. So okay. I played it. I have played it on PS5. I played it on PC. I've maxed out all four classes on PC, and maxed out maybe one or two on PS5. Have you guys played it yet?
Yeah, definitely played it. I did two characters. I did one on Xbox, one on PlayStation, did Devastator on PlayStation, did the Pyromancer on Xbox.
Okay. Beat, have you played it yet?
Yeah, I've been playing it on PC. I did the Technomancer, and
I keep forgetting that B has a PC. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
He like what's name? He like villain out here, man. You don't know what he be doing. Like you actually playing games on other platforms and don't tell people.
I bet you villain got an $8,000 PC. He one of them dudes that be no lie. There was a guy in Lucas Discord earlier today who literally bought a PC that's I'm not joking here, $7,800.
Oh man,
and I mean it's overkill for overkill. It's like the overkill has overkill. It's got a 1600 watt power supply.
For what?
Jesus,
exactly.
For what?
Power, man.
What are you powering? The space shuttle?
3090s in there too?
You powering a space shuttle or something? Are you trying to power the Times Square in Manhattan? Like, what are you powering with your 1600 watt power?
That's not like a person that literally went to like Origins PC and just clicked everything with the highest dollar amount next to it.
Yeah, I think that's what he did. It's got like a 3950X CPU. The motherboard is MSI's top motherboard.
Oh yeah, he
sings all over the place. It looks like a transformer. No lie. The motherboard looks like Optimus Prime's face. He sings all over the place. It's that alone was $1,400.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you, like I had that. I was like, dude, please show me your bill. I need to add this up to see how it comes to anywhere close to $7,800. But it really, I think the vast majority of it is not pandemic prices, but this shortage issue. Because his GPU is a 3090.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right here.
And that brand 3090, I think is like over like $2,500. So it's just like, yeah. I mean, look, hey, it's his money.
Wait a minute,
you're not gonna find me?
Origin?
No, it's not Origin.
Oh,
but
okay.
You're not gonna find me pocket watching nobody. It is his money. Congratulations to him. I hope he never has to upgrade this.
What?
Like, he should never have.
Why is the cooler $1,000?
Yo, he's got Generation 4 M.2 SSD that's 2 terabytes.
Yeah, he wild out here.
Yeah,
man.
he was just clicking buttons.
Yeah, right. Now I'm pretty sure Villain saw this build and was like, "That's it." All right, servants, make me go online, get me a build that's better than that. Just because you know how Villain is, you know he's got to have it, you know, and then he'll play it and not tell anyone he has it, of course. But my bad. B,
good. I've been playing I finished the Technomancer, and now I'm doing the Devastator.
Okay, so what are you guys' favorite classes so far?
For me, it's probably the Technomancer, just because I haven't got a chance to dive into the other ones yet.
Okay, yeah.
And the Devastator, I'm still kind of early on, but I just like the ability to throw out the turrets and the long range weapons and stuff. So
that class is very The Division to me.
Yeah,
with the turrets and the artillery and long range combat. It's the only one that's truly a long range class. But my favorite is the Trickster. You have to be. Matter of fact, both of you. Your next, because you got another 3 weeks or so before the actual game comes out.
Yeah.
Play the Trickster. It is so much fun. The fact you could throw out this blade and it ages the enemies that it hits. It ages them until they die. I love it. The time bubble where everyone in the bubble is just moving in slow motion and you can just pull out the shotgun and just destroy everyone. I love it. It's I'm really enjoying this game, as you can tell. It's got its issues. Clearly,
definitely got those.
But it's fun. It has I think it has a good foundation.
I think so.
Yeah, and I think it's something that I like the fact that they're not making a live service game. I saw an interview where they were talking about how they initially started development on it as a live service game, but then as they started to get deeper into development, they started to realize the things that we want to do with this don't really coincide with what a live service looter shooter is. And if we wanted to make content that was designed for live service, it wasn't beneficial for the overall experience. I appreciate developers saying, hey, look, we're going to forego additional money here so that the game is better. I appreciate that big time. So my bad. Forte, what is your favorite class so far, and how are you enjoying the demo overall?
Well, I enjoyed the demo a lot. My favorite so far. I mean, I only played two of the four, and I've been doing a lot of pyromancer because I just like running around, slamming on the ground and putting everything on fire. It's pretty crazy and fun. Mm-hmm. But I just like the one thing I like about the game the most is the fact that it makes you have to do things that you normally don't do in a game like a shooter. Like it's a shooter, but it's a shooter that makes you use your abilities because your abilities mean more than the guns that you actually have. Now, guns matter. Guns do matter, but the abilities you have matter more. If you want to be able to clear out areas and do really OP things in the games, that's where your abilities are going to come into a play. And I really like and appreciate how the abilities tie together and focus when you're doing it with different types of character builds from other people. And I think that's the thing that most of these games don't get right. They don't get the team composition part of it right. And that's the one thing I think that this game definitely has in spades. My biggest thing with it is I think with everybody is just but the cutscenes, it makes you want to throw up. Even on PC, it makes you want to throw up. I'm like, what's going on with all this? The story itself is kind of forgetful, but then again, I don't know too many games out there that had anything near what Borderlands 2 did when it came to a story progression. So these games are all still learning from each other when it comes to that. I agree with you. I do love the fact that a lot of people think this is a live service game when they came out and said, no, we want to focus on the game, the game experience first. And they said they're not against not making this a live service game later on. They just say, we want to give everybody the full experience up front. We want to say, this is what this game is. And we'll see how people, love the game or how much they actually want to dive deeper and deeper into some of the skills that this game has, because it's going to be a very deep progression that you can actually dive into if you want to dive into it. And if they see a lot of people still playing this game 6, 7, 8 months from now, then they're going to go out and they're going to add more content to the game, and then you're going to start seeing
they already said they're working on additional post-game content.
Yeah, they already said they're working. Well, they were just talking about the long term, like how Destiny wants to have they have 3 DLCs scheduled to come out still. They're not doing that in this game. They're saying we're gonna build what we want. We're gonna build what we're gonna build, and we're going to see where that takes us, and we're going to see what type of player base we have to a year and a half to 2 years from now. And if the game is still thriving, they'll add even more content. So I think that's the best way to do it, because guess what? None of the other ways that these games have been doing it has been working. And I think this is probably one of the best, because you're like, we're just going to spend the money that we already have and give you the best experience that you can have, and then we'll see what the player base does with it after that. So I'm enjoying it. I just think I need to play with other people, because as much as you can play this game by yourself, it's more of a cooperative game than anything, because I think it just plays and feels better when you have other people with you.
Facts. I just want to note a question and comment that Smiles just said, like, what about all these new games coming out with crossplay out the gate? Thought a lot of these creators and studios know that gamers didn't want crossplay. Now it's a driving seller. I agree. Like, this is, I think that Outriders having crossplay at launch is going to be a huge deal for this game being successful.
Yes.
Because I think, one, you have a limited demographic that's into looters. And this game has been classified as a looter and even looked at as a live service looter, even though it's not, just because of the category that it's in. You see this game and you see the gameplay and you see the skill progression, you see the loot, and you automatically start thinking about the Division, Destiny, and then the failed looters, Anthem, stuff like that. So you start thinking like, oh man, like or Godfall, and then you start thinking about, wow, like, what kind of game is this going to be? And then who am I going to play with? And I have already played with people from while I'm on PC, people on PlayStation 5, people on PlayStation 4s, people on Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One consoles, just whatever platform this game is going to be on. I've played with people already on it. It works pretty well. Their process is they generate a code. Whoever's going to host will generate a code, and then you just give that code to whoever you want to play with. They put that code in, and bam, you're all into the same game together. So it works. I think this game has the potential to have legs. I look at some of and because it's a looter, right? The way I play through looters, I usually rush to max level. And then once I hit max level, then I want to start min-maxing and creating a build or multiple builds, depending on how much I like the game, out of different classes. And I can see already now, just playing through the demo, that I can do some kind of build diversity things already without even being at max level. You see, like, you grab like some boots that have a particular perk for one of your powers that can give you healing. For example, like I saw there's some boots for the Pyromancer where it's not the Pyromancer, it's the Devastator, where there's a trait on the boots where you get 100% of the damage you do, in that where the Devastator turns into rocks, and then you can kind of like aim yourself at the enemies and then come down and hit them and recreate yourself, and you do all this like slam damage on the enemies, where these boots would give you 100% of the damage you do to enemies back as health. And so like that could be a way for you to kind of save yourself. If you're starting to get in trouble, you can actually activate that ability, choose a group of enemies. Typically, if you're in trouble, there's a whole bunch of enemies on the screen. Slam into them. Now you got all your health back, and you can kind of, reset your position in the battlefield. It's the game has got a lot of depth to it, I think. And I like that there are no med kits. There are no like active healing. All the healing you do is passive. Right. And it all depends on if you're using the Technomancer, killing enemies from long range gives you healing. If you're using this Trickster and the Devastator, killing enemies from short range gives you healing. If you're the Pyromancer, setting enemies on fire marks them, and when they die, it gives you healing. Like as Forte said earlier, it incentivizes you to use your abilities over your typical take cover and shoot. Yes, it has all those elements of Gears of War, down to the whole button to look at something thing that Gears of War does. I mean, all of that. I'm like, damn, I really took a lot from Gears. I know y'all made the Gears Judgment, but damn, but like they do all that stuff. Yet the actual gameplay, it's not Gears. Like, yes, the snap to cover is similar, although the shooting isn't as tight as Gears of War is, but all that stuff is similar. But sitting in cover and shooting from cover is not going to be good for you. Okay, Tequila Trent says, so Slow-Mo, when you say looters, you mean looter shooters? Yes. When I talk about looters, I mean looter shooters. There are looters that aren't looter shooters, of course, like Diablo. Diablo's a looter, but ain't exactly any shooting going on in it. But that's what I mean typically. Sorry if I wasn't being clear. We got Enrique in the house. And Enrique is still ducking B Money, and he says, I was in the lobby on NBA 2K21 waiting for B Money. Now I know where he is. Of course, since he already knew B was supposed to be on the show tonight, he decides to jump in the lobby at a time when B not going to be here. He doesn't remind me of Friday.
I need him to send me a link of him actually in the lobby waiting for somebody to join.
Exactly.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, first of all, we're not gonna believe you, Enrique, unless we see a screenshot of you and your little scrawny ass character at the playground actually in a lobby to play the game. If not, it ain't happening. Okay. But I mean, overall, let's to close up the topic on Outriders. Are you guys buying the game? B1, you go first.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying it day one. I was on this game kind of early, and I felt like it was going to be like one of those sleepers because I think it's going to attract like a different audience from like your standard or what we call the standard looter now, as far as like the Destiny and like the Division. I think you're going to get like more people who are interested in like Borderlands, but weren't really feeling like the art style or like, you know what I mean, just that tone that Borderlands has.
Hey, hold real quick. We Blade X. Shout out to Blade X. He says no shout out for me. This crazy. Blade X. Sir, how are you doing this evening? Are you having a great night? I hope you're doing well. All right, there we go. B, go ahead, man.
but I think it's going to attract a different audience, and I think it'll have some legs as long as they can continue to have great in-game content. I watched a video I think yesterday or the day before where they were showing off like the I think they called them encounters maybe or something like that as far as like the in-game
post-game content.
Yeah, the post-game stuff.
Oh, they're called it's like right on the tip of my tongue.
Maybe
expeditions
or excursions, something like that.
Yeah. I think they're expeditions, but yeah, those look awesome.
Yeah. So that content looks great, and I love the fact that you can like respec your character at any time. Like it doesn't take like you get into a certain point or you know what I mean. So you can change up your character based on you know what I mean whatever enemy you're fighting. To kind of take advantage of the different stacks on your character. So I think it's going to be a game if it can get enough attention, and I think with the crossplay, it'll keep enough people engaged where they'll always be able to find someone. I think it'll be all right for at least for a good while, as long as I can stay with it. The thing about People Can Fly is like they've always had like pretty good ideas as far as games, but they never really execute fully, and I think a lot of people just kind of dismiss them. Gears Judgment was, it was okay. It wasn't the best Gears game, and then
not at all. I would say it's probably the worst Gears game. But they're all high quality, but
right. And then they did Bulletstorm, and Bulletstorm was cool for what it was. But no, I think with this, they actually got a chance to kind of stake their flag and kind of be a notable developer.
True. I wanted to touch on a couple of the issues that I have with it real quick before we move on. The cutscenes are capped at 30 frames per second, which when you're playing on PC like me and B, like it's very jarring when you're at like 144 frames per second, and then it goes all the way down to 30. Like it looks very awkward, and then it doesn't really like, so even though it's at 30 frames per second, I feel like the animation of the actual characters on screen are moving at a different frame rate. So there are times the movements of the characters and especially the lip syncing is just off. And so that's something that they are addressing. They said they're uncapping the cutscenes from 30 frames per second. Thank God. So we won't have to worry about that anymore. They said that they're making some changes to how people are getting all these legendaries through like the vendors and stuff like that. But
I don't like that.
Well, this is what they said. They said to compensate for that, if you do the side missions over again, there's a higher chance of getting legendaries off of those instead of the kind of the loot farm that they had going on where people were getting like 2 or 3 legendaries a run. Now it's a little bit more balanced, which I get.
You saw people were actually getting that, but every time I looked up and I saw people, they were all talking like, I played 16 hours and got 2 legendaries.
Well, yeah. Look, I haven't got a single legendary. Although
That's what I'm saying. So
I haven't been farming. So, like, I mean, I'm usually I'm the kind of person that, like, once I'm sold on the game and I know I'm getting it, I'm like, bet I ain't trying to play the demo no more. I don't want to play nothing else.
Right.
Like, I want the game to come. I want to play the game, and so I'm kind of backed off on. I did play it a little bit earlier with a couple of people I know.
I know a lot of people. I just know a lot of people are doing it because of the whole since the weapons and stuff and all that stuff carries over, even though because people keep saying like, well, why would you grind in this game? As soon as you go to the next world tier, your stuff is going to be outclassed. But the reason they're doing it is because all of the gear that you get when you dismantle it, it gives you crafting materials to go towards the newer stuff that you can go when you want to do it. So I know why people are doing it. I just don't. I understand the fact, okay, you don't want everybody going in there. We're going to make it easier for you to get these exotics, but I just don't want to see them go down a path of not taking stuff away from people, but making it like you can't play the game the way you want to play it. I think that's one of the biggest problems that Bungie has with that type of situation. Allow people to, if there's not breaking your game, it is not making your game not playable. Don't take away ways that make people play the games. That's why people play games like Diablo the way they play it. The reason they play games like Borderlands and stuff the way that they play those games, because it gives me the ability to play it how I want to play it. So I'm willing to give it a pass on this. I just hope they don't go too far with it.
That said, Gearbox has been known to nerf some weapons or gear that created combinations that were not what they had intended. For example, with Borderlands 2, the combination of the conference call shotgun, which was still OP as all get out, and the B shield together. If you could if you got those two at, like, say, you could solo the entire campaign, go to the end boss, the warrior, and just wipe him out in a millisecond. That's what they realized, that what they did, they had to nerf the conference call and not the B shield, because the B shield was really just like, it had its weaknesses inherently. But it was a conference call that was just way too OP when they first made it. So it's like, this is going to happen even in the looter shooter where it's most primarily PvE. You're going to have some balancing to do to prevent having particular combinations of weapons and powers and gear that make it basically the entire game a cakewalk and just completely destroys the competitive balance. When you don't do that, when you don't nerf those things in order to keep the balance correct, you have a situation like in Division 1 in update, I think it was 1.3, where they were balancing around the overpowered abilities that you had. But what they ended up doing was making it so that the only way that you could complete anything in the game is that you had to use specific skills. And that just completely destroy any build diversity or any creativity that anyone would have had with the game. And so you don't want to make those kind of mistakes. But unfortunately, we didn't get whether you were buying the game or not.
Oh yeah, day one. It's a day one buy. Yeah, day one buy.
Is it day one and you not playing Destiny?
A day one buy. This is gonna sit there and not be played.
B is already. Yeah, we are of the same mind.
Are you just trying? Are you trying today? Is this what this is?
No, B is looking at history. I'm saying Forte is not going to play this game. You're going to buy the game and then not play it, like how you bought Spider-Man and didn't play it, you know.
I ain't buy Spider-Man, so didn't have to buy Spider-Man.
You still had it in your possession, man.
I did, and still didn't play it.
So are you? Hey, here's the question. Here's a better question for you, specifically for you. Since you say you're going to buy it, are you going to play the game?
Yes.
All right.
My fire team's playing it, so yeah, I'm definitely playing it. I already talked to Taz about it. We gonna load it up and we gonna do our thing, you know. And plus, it comes out at a great time because Destiny is going to be in the middle of the season, like middle the middle end, so it's really nothing going to be pretty much going on. Their season goes into, I think that this season is going to run pretty much into May, so there's really nothing pretty much going on at that time, so it's going to be time to jump out. But you got to also think the fact that I'm in the middle of a season right now that just started, and I took time out to actually play this game. I just come to the realization that I just like games like this. I like games that give me the ability to go out and craft a character to become as strong as I want to become in the game. That was the allure of Borderlands. That was the allure of Diablo for me. It's not too many games where I sit there and say, I just want to play the game because it's a great game. It's because the mechanics and the way that the game is set up, it makes me want to do it. That's why I love the First Division as much as I did. You know, the only games that I just love for just shooting is Battlefield, honestly, and Halo and Battlefield. That's it. Everything else is like, okay, it's pretty much the same as everything else. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing this. That's why I kept mentioning to you all the time. I was like, Slow-Mo, why are you hiding offline? Because I know you're a guru when it comes to this type of game. I'm like, why do I have to go? I shouldn't have to pick up a phone.
Just hit me
call
up.
You.
No, first off,
I shouldn't. Listen, you
first of
Slow-Mo,
all, do not talk to me about not picking up the phone. Sir.
I said I shouldn't have to pick up a phone to call you.
You
have Xbox Live. You have PlayStation Plus.
Send me a Twitter DM. Send me a text message. Send me some. Hey, I'm trying to play Outriders.
Who are you hiding from?
Huh?
Who are you hiding from?
Don't worry about that, man. Don't worry about that.
Oh
look, I'm not hiding from you. You send me a message. We can get together. We can play the game. That's all.
I've been trying to play the game with you for the last 3-4 days, and it's like, well, Slow-Mo's not. He's not around.
You know what? I've been playing with people. They have contacted me to play with me, unlike you. Therefore, this is why you haven't played with me. Okay, that's all it is. That is all it is. Enrique says he's debating on which platform to get the game on. I would say Enrique, get it on the platform that performs the best for you. And for you, I would say that's probably going to be your PC, sir. So there you go. And plus, if you don't have to worry about. Wait,
didn't he just say that he wasn't like, not jumping off the PC bandwagon? Any other time he would have said, oh, well, I know where I'm playing this game at, PC player base all day. Now he up here saying, oh, I don't know where I'm going to play at. Oh, Forte, I ain't never said anything like that.
Looking kind of shaky. I
don't know, man. I'm just, when I speak, sometimes you should listen.
The great thing is with crossplay is that you don't have to worry about like, oh well, I want to play it on this platform, but everyone that I know that's going to play the game is on another platform. Dang, I gotta go get it on that platform, even though I don't prefer that. You can play it on the platform that you prefer and just link up with the people through the game through its crossplay features that you enjoy. So yeah, that's great about that. I think I can't wait for April 1st. First time I've ever have been eagerly anticipating April Fool's Day.
Do you think it's going to be let me ask you this though. Do you think there is an inherent, it's going to be like a built-in reason that you probably do want to play on the same platform as other people that you can play with the most?
For this game?
No. So you just think just play wherever you want to play at? Yeah,
look, like I said, I've tried the crossplay, and I didn't have any issues with the cross. There have been issues with the sheer fact that the game is peer-to-peer co-op. Right. So don't play with someone who got trash internet. I'm looking at you, Smiles. Okay. You need to move out of the Bahamas. Y'all out there with like basically those cups and string, trying to get y'all internet working together. Like I don't know what's going on. Y'all powering your internet with coconut oil and so I don't know what's going on. Internet's trash out there. It's terrible. You can't host. Whenever we play in co-op, you are not hosting.
You got a lot of scenery though, a lot of good looking scenery too.
I live in the middle of the ocean. Yes, you have beautiful beaches. You can look outside, and you're looking at a beautiful scenery. Downside, Your internet's garbage. It is what it is. It's garbage. But you are not hosting any game that I'm playing. I don't feel like dealing with that. So whoever got the best, the best internet needs to host. Yes, we're going back to 2013 because this game does not have dedicated servers. It's look, it's a smaller studio. People can fly. They don't have the benefits of being published by a major publisher that Square Enix is a major publisher.
Square Enix is publishing.
Square Enix is cheap. They cheap. That's why. So Square Enix is being cheap. They didn't give them dedicated servers. It's terrible, but it is what it is. But like you're gonna have to worry about who you can actually. Whoever of you who has the best internet needs to host the game, and your progression will work for everyone, which is great. I'm glad they allowed that. But moving on, let's talk about a looter that doesn't have a future, and that's Anthem. Anthem is officially dead, and this is one of those topics that we missed that came up last week. So 2 weeks ago, me and Forte, we discussed how EA was trying to determine whether they were going to let the Anthem Next team continue and trying to revitalize that game. And if they were going to do that, they were going to have to triple the staff from 30 to 90 in order to complete all of the different things that they wanted to do to revamp and modify the game, or shut it down, say it ain't worth it, and then just kind of dissolve that team and move those people into various places for development on the next Mass Effect game and Dragon Age 4. And as we all kind of figured what was going to happen, they decided to dissolve the team, move on. Anthem is still live, so you can play the game. The servers are still up. They have dedicated servers. All that stuff is still up, but there will be no further updates for this game, no content being developed for it. It is where it is, and it guaranteed there will not be a sequel. So, B Money, how do you feel about that, man?
I don't care. like
90% of the gaming community. Go ahead, man.
I had hopes for Anthem when it first came out. You know what I mean? And then as we started to peel that onion back, and we discovered, that gameplay that they were showing us was fake, and half the developers didn't know what the hell was going on, and we were all just kind of being lied to. All my hopes and dreams for Anthem just kind of went out the window. So, I was kind of excited, when they announced the Anthem Next, that hopefully they could turn it around and maybe change the game into like a true RPG and not some live service game or whatever. But now that they announced that they're not doing that, I don't care, man. Hopefully BioWare will be around for us in the next 5 years. I have a feeling that EA is put them to the test to see if they can actually deliver on this next game, and if they don't, I don't think BioWare will be around much longer.
I definitely agree with that. Forte, what do you think, man?
As soon as they announced that they were going to have a conference call and they were going to do this whole elaborate, like, should we keep the game? I was like, it's already over.
Are you saying they were trying to soften this up for the blow?
No, the fact that they actually had the audacity to come out and say we're gonna do a meeting and see if we're gonna fund this game any further. Huh? When have you ever heard a company come out and say, well, we're gonna have this meeting and let the whole world know that we're having this meeting to let you know?
Well, to be fair, Jason Schreier leaked that meeting. That wasn't something that was supposed to be publicly said. And they didn't come out and like say we're definitely deciding whether to pull the plug on this or not, but it was definitely something that was confirmed from multiple internal sources that Jason Schreier has within BioWare, but it wasn't like they did an announcement, but after that they had to announce what their decision was going to be, since everyone was like waiting to see what was going to happen. But
the decision on that was made months ago before they even got to this point. They just got tired of seeking more and more money into it. And you know what? I'm not mad. It just comes down to the fact that EA just mismanaged BioWare ever since they got them. Honestly, they have had some very, very good runs, and a lot of people don't realize this. I think EA they were stuck in a situation where DICE was their golden goose, and a lot of stuff that's been going on with DICE as of lately haven't really been panning itself out. You got the whole Star Wars debacle that really comes to the forefront when it comes to that. And then on top of that, the number one game that they depend on that's not FIFA or Madden, Battlefield hasn't been as good as it normally has been. And maybe that's a lot to do with the fact of the direction of the games that they've been doing versus the company itself. But I think they depended a lot on DICE to bring a lot of stuff to the forefront for them, and they haven't been able to do that. And then you try to force BioWare to do something that they haven't been as great at, and that's called building a story from scratch like they used to do when old BioWare was pretty freaking incredible. And let's be for real, the BioWare that we have now, or even over the last couple of years, is nowhere near the BioWare we had back in 2007 when the first Mass Effect game was built, when they were building Dragon Age 1, Dragon Age Awakening, Dragon Age 2, even Inquisition. It's a completely different BioWare. So I think it's just the writing's been on the wall there. I am with B on the fact that I do think this is going to be the last chance that they're going to have with BioWare, because I still think there was something to the whole thing when you did your video, Slow-Mo. You talked about, we know more about the new Mass Effect game because we had screenshots at that time. Then we knew about one that was already on the horizons that we already played, and we don't even know what we're getting in this game. And then, to their credit, within the next couple of weeks, they did talk about that stuff. But I think so much is going to be falling on what they do with the next Mass Effect game and what falls on Dragon Age, that this might just be a precursor to what's going to happen to that company in the end. And it's gonna be sad, but ultimately that might be another reason why Dara and Casey Hudson ended up leaving the company, because who really wants to work under them circumstances where you don't even really know if the company itself believes in you to the point where you're going to be able to build the games you need to build. So that's where I think it is right now. So it is disappointing because I do think they had something with Anthem, even knowing it was surely by mistake, because the game that they were building, the studio staff didn't even know what the freaking game was when they announced it the first time. But they found themselves with a game that actually had some promise, and I do know that people are kind of upset that they didn't give it the, Division treatment, or, like how Bungie did with Destiny and then built it up over time. EA is not about that. They're not about that time. They're not about that money. And if it's not giving them the money they want up front, then they're just going to do away with it.
All right. And I think that's the biggest problem with EA right now, is because they're not holding themselves accountable. You know what I mean? Like, where's the quality assurance? Where is the fact that the reason why Battlefield has been so trash is that they greenlit 2 games, a World War I game and a World War II game, back to back. Why in the hell would you do that when your main competition moved on after that 1 year that they put out the World War II game? You know what I mean? Like, they did this to themselves, and when they released Titanfall and Battlefield in the same year, you know what I mean? Like, those games released within weeks of each other. Everything has been going on with BioWare. The only thing that EA has done right is buy Respawn and put Vince in the correct position to kind of reshape what we know of EA today. And I think that's one of the big reasons why they went after Codemasters and they bought Codemasters, because Need for Speed has been trash also for a long time. So and they took Crichton off of the newest Need for Speed, and they put them on to the Battlefield that's coming out this year. So I think they're going to retool Need for Speed, and I think they're trying to bring back some of their more notable franchises, and kind of do it the right way. But they got to hold themselves accountable too. Where was the all the heads of EA, coming down on these games? Like, you got investors out there, you know what I mean, spending their money. You would think you want to put out a quality project, and they haven't done that in quite a while. If it wasn't for Respawn, EA would be in a world of trouble.
I agree 1000%. And it also, if it wasn't for Respawn and them leaving Respawn alone, letting Respawn make the decisions on what kind of game engine that they use, let Respawn decide how to develop their games, and setting their own timetables, that kind of stuff like that. They allow Vince to have that autonomy to really do that, and they saw the fruit of it. And so that kind of goes into what my next question is for you guys, and that's, we saw what EA came out and said about how Respawn's Jedi Fallen Order really showed them some things about how single player games can be successful without them interjecting live services in every damn thing that they make and publish. What do you guys think about them saying that they're being hands off now with BioWare, and BioWare can now Dragon Age 4 is going to be strictly a single player RPG the way it should be, with no live services injected into the game, and the fact that it was initially developed to be a live service game? Like, what do you guys think about that?
A little too late. Like, have we learned anything from what Xbox did with 343 and the fact that that game was supposed to come out a year ago, and it got delayed because of the changes they wanted to make in the middle of development when it comes to switching engines, or just in general trying to make a completely different type of game? That's what I'm looking at with this. It's like, yeah.
You mean in regards to Dragon Age, right?
Yeah, Dragon Age. I'm like, yeah,
because you know they've shown us back-to-back teaser trailers,
right? So that means this game is you have nothing to show. But then the direction of the game, you said, was in the direction of a game being in a games of service. You don't just rip a games of service type of model out of a game without it being consequences to the way that the game was going to be developed. Now, unless this game's not going to come out for another 5 more years, then we might still have it still might be some hope for the game. But if this game releases anytime soon over the next 2 to 3 years, I don't think anything they do in the interim is going to change the fact that this game was already doomed from the beginning, especially if you go off of the model of the way that they wanted their games and services to be ran over since the course of last generation. Could be something completely different now, depending on what they want to do with it. But I just don't see the game thriving the way people want it to thrive if they actually are just changing the course of how the game's going to be developed from being one thing to another.
Okay. My next question is for you, B. B, do you think this current day BioWare can recapture the magic, that BioWare magic of storytelling, the way that old school BioWare could with Dragon Age 4?
I don't think so, but I think they can, kind of make their own magic. You know what I mean? Put a different spin on it.
Mm-hmm. But is that what people want to see from BioWare?
I don't know, because BioWare hasn't been good for the last 2 releases that they've put out. You know what I mean? Like, we know that, it was a second team that did Andromeda, but, it still had BioWare's name on it. And then, we get now we're returning to the Mass Effect trilogy, and we're going to be playing old games just with updated features. So it's kind of hard to say where people will land as far as trying to get that old BioWare feel, because there's other companies out there, there's other RPG companies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think everybody has to kind of evolve, you know what I mean, on this next slate of like big RPGs, because we had Witcher 3 and Dragon Age Inquisition last generation, which I think were probably the biggest RPGs. But then we got followed up with Cyberpunk. We saw what that was. We followed up with Andromeda. We saw what that was. You know what I mean? So Fallout 4 was not the game that everyone expected it to be. So I think just the whole RPG genre, as far as like the Western RPG, is probably going to have to evolve a little bit. And I think storytelling is going to be a major factor of that, and the way it's done is probably going to have to evolve, just for, you know what I mean, to capture new audiences.
Yeah.
I think that BioWare is never going to recapture the status that they once had. I don't think their stories are going to be as impactful as they once were. I agree with you, B. I think it's going to be now time for other studios to step into that spot. And I'm not talking like CD Projekt Red, but I'm talking like Larian Studios. I'm talking Archetype Entertainment. Where all the former BioWare talent went. I'm talking Obsidian. Obsidian has that opportunity.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's time for them to shine where BioWare once stood, because unfortunately, BioWare had some, circumstances that were out of their control there, but also a lot of missteps on their own that caused them to be where they are. And these other studios haven't tripped up that way. So I think they're going to really fill that void, and those are the studios that we should look out for in the future for the kind of games that they're going to be making. But I wanted to move on because I know we're already like at the hour point. Let's get into Sony. Sony's week last week was interesting. I mean, very, very interesting. So the first thing that came out was Days Gone. Jim Ryan. Jim.
Call him by his real name.
Yeah, but I'm calling by his real name. Jim. I'm lying. I'm dying if I'm lying, Ryan. Okay. Jim, I'm dying if I'm lying, Ryan. Comes out, does an interview, and he just spilling all the tea. He's like, man, Days Gone is going to PC. And they ain't the only one. We dropping everything up in PC. We going. What was his words? A whole slate. Was that it?
It was.
Yep. So PC guys are like, yes, bring it all. And then there's some diehard PlayStation fans that's just like, no, this is not what I wanted. Can you stop doing this, please? But you can't stop the train. It's already moving. It's already on the tracks. It's already got steam. And then there was the state of play that, although I thought personally enjoyed it, it seems like I'm the only one. I feel like I'm the only person that enjoyed it because so many people hated that state of play. And so let's dive into this. First, let's talk about Days Gone going to PC. Who's picking that up, and what other games do you think are going to PC? Forte, go ahead and start it off, man.
I was gonna pick it up, but then I thought about it. I was like, I can't. The game wasn't good enough for me, and I haven't even played it on my PlayStation 5, and I know it's got the update and stuff. So at a certain point, it's like I'm just giving them money just to give them money at a certain point. So I'm not really interested in that one. I think the only game that PlayStation can technically come out with that I would play on PC right now that's already been out is God of War. Because I did start playing that again on PS5 with the new update, which is phenomenal. I would love to see what that game looks like at 120 something plus frames per second instead of just the normal 60 frames that it runs at. But
that would be pretty nice,
pretty incredible. But but that game, and then the Uncharted games too, I would definitely want to play those games, especially at a very much higher resolution and frame rate. So those are the only ones I think I would actually, games that have already been announced and released that they could come out that I would want to do on PC. But for the most part, this is nothing new. I put a video out about this a couple days ago, just talking about how this is how Xbox started back in 2014, 2015. They started with a couple of their games, and it was stuff that people was like, oh, these games are old. People play these games already. Okay. And then all of a sudden, you fast forward 3 years later, and then all of a sudden then the newer games started coming, and then started seeing day and date. So at a certain point, I just think that I don't think they'll ever get to the. Well, I won't even say you can't say ever because it's Jim Ryan. But I don't think they'll get to the. They don't think they'll get to the day and date thing anytime soon. But I do see a situation where a lot of these games that people didn't think were going to have the opportunity to show up on a PC platform, they're just setting you up for the okie doke. They're greasing the wheels. They're saying, "Yo, just be prepared," just like Xbox, did Xbox gamers and stuff. Is sooner or later it's going to happen. And guess what? It's not a problem, because if you enjoy games, you'll play the games no matter where you want to play them at, on a PC, on an Xbox, on a PlayStation. Who cares? But I thought it was a really interesting week. I didn't get a chance to really talk about any of that stuff because it was during the week of my my shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it was very interesting seeing a lot of people going back on things that they said was not a possibility. And I just wonder if people are going to keep that same energy as more and more of this news starts coming out.
Yeah. Look, hey, I don't know about day and date, but I do agree with you on a lot of that. And people have to just face facts like this. Those games are coming over the PC, and they're not going to stay on the PlayStation platform for long. I brought up a chart on Brap last week. Was it last week? Yeah, last week. I'll find it and bring it up again in a moment. But B, go ahead and tell me what you think about this, about Days Gone going to PC. Are you going to get it on PC? And what other games you are among that slate that's going?
I'm probably not going to get Days Gone on PC. I have Days Gone on PS4. I still have yet to play the game.
Yeah.
So I'll probably play it on PS5. Like I got the game super cheap when they were having a sale like a year ago or something. So I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Just been playing other stuff. But I think as far as like the other games that are coming, I'd expect everything from PS4 catalog as far as first party to be on PC. And I wouldn't even be surprised if they snuck The Last of Us Remastered on PC as well.
That's good.
I welcome it. I want all the games on PC. If you can put all the Xbox games on PC and all the PlayStation games on PC, I ain't got to buy a console, man.
I know.
I'm trying to live the best of all the worlds in one place. If you can give me that, I'm down, man. I don't want to or Fox to play a year. Put everything on PC. I can chill in my chair, man, have a good time, and don't got to do nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look. Hey, I'm all for that too. I would love to just have everything all on one platform, and that be my PC platform where I play the games in their best performance, because I got the rig to do that, and I don't have to play them on all different platforms. And I can use a DualSense on the PC the same way I can use an Xbox controller on the PC. That's right. Just where I'm at, and I wanted to bring this up because I wanted people to see this once again. I showed this on a video I did about PlayStation last week, and then I also showed it on Brap. But if you go to the beginning, in the beginning in
1972,
it was all about consoles and arcade, right?
Yep.
The PCs came in, but they weren't really a big part of the pie. But if you notice here, this is the 80s, and consoles were generating annually $20 billion. Look at what there's a lot of growth there. 33 now. PC has grown bigger than consoles, and you got mobile, of course, is the biggest thing. You got cloud and VR up here that nobody really care about. They're burgeoning markets. Handheld is pretty much dead. Arcade is getting there. It's almost dead. Definitely dead in America. That did in some other countries, but it's getting there. But overall, Sony is owning this, right? They're owning the console space. They got 2/3 of all the revenue that comes in here. But the problem is that they got almost nothing out of this. And this is a bigger piece of the gaming pie than that. And so, of course, this was inevitable. They were going to get into this market because they want more money. it's the long and short of it. When Jim Ryan comes out and says, well, we didn't see any kind of like major outrage with this decision, he heard you guys. He saw you guys complaining on Twitter. Did he care? Not a single bit, because
y'all just a little drip in the pot, man.
Exactly. Y'all are a small smidgen of this 33 billion. He wants all of that, and he knows there is some crossover here. There are PC gamers who are just like, I just can't see myself buying a closed platform where I can't toggle what resolution I want to play at. I can't play around to make sure I get 120 frames per second on every single game I play. These kind of gamers exist. I know you don't know them, but they do exist. And they would buy a Sony first-party game if they didn't have to buy a closed platform in order to play it. And those are the facts. And this is the reason why, although maybe not all their games day one, because they want to protect their platform. So although with that, Forte, I will disagree. I don't think they're ever going to go day and date.
Oh, no. I don't think they're ever going to go day and date either. I just think that people that don't think that these games over the course of a 2 to 3 year window, like right now, it's 2 to 3 years. Next thing you know, is going to be
for some games, they've already gone to a year. I think Demon Souls is going to be 1 year. I think next year Demon Souls will be on PC. I also think, and when it goes to my next question about what other games are coming in that slate, I think for sure Bloodborne is a part of that. I think Bloodborne will be one of the games. Excuse me, that's announced.
Game up and running.
Yeah, I'll definitely play Bloodborne.
I'll do Bloodborne if they do it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of work that's going to be needed to get that game up to snuff.
I think Bloodborne's a game that would really resonate with the PC gaming market, that demographic, and I think that's a game that will be a game that will come out this year. I
wouldn't be surprised if it's the next one announced.
Yeah, I agree. I also agree with Forte about
every game
Uncharted collection, because I think
every game that's in that PlayStation collection that they gave you on PS5 is going to more than likely show up.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah. So look, it's just people gotta come to terms with it. Like, shout out to the homie Blaze 4K. Blaze is like, he's still like, look, I know I said that Horizon Zero Dawn would never come. I know I said all this, but I'm sorry. They are not getting Spider-Man. They are not getting God of War. They're not getting. I'm like, all right. Blaze is going to be wrong, and people going to have a lot of receipts on the homie, when it shows that, God of War is coming to PC, but it's something that we all got to come to terms with at some point. It may not all come at once, but it's going to happen. And so
you got to come to terms with it.
Now, about that state of play. Now I'll go real quick, and then you guys can go. I actually liked what I saw from the state of play. I liked it. And I'll tell you why I liked it. I gave it an 8 out of 10. And I know some people think that's extremely too high. What's wrong with you? Are you on drugs? And I'm not on drugs at this moment, but I did think it was 8 out of 10. I think it's an 8 out of 10 because I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. Final Fantasy remake Integrate was a huge shock for me. I had no idea that I was going to see something like that. Being able to play as Yuffie in that kind of game, whereas Yuffie I thought was pretty cool, even though I pretty much hated that character in the original game. I want to see how different it is with the changes they've made with remake, and with, I'm not going to spoil it, but like the kind of the big shocker of what's going on with the story. I want to see how this fits Yuffie and this other character fit into the story, about why Cloud's missing, about some of the other shockers that they did with the surprise at the end. I think that I really enjoyed that. They got the Final Fantasy VII Remake PS5 is a free upgrade for me because I purchased the game last year. I'm gonna play through it again at 60 frames per second and 4K because it looks beautiful. And I thought it was a great looking game when it came out on PS4. It had some points here and there where they dedicated the majority of their pixels to making the characters look awesome.
Yeah, some of the textures in the background wouldn't
exactly. The textures in the background look like something from PS3, but that's what the drawbacks they had with the PS4 hardware. They don't have those drawbacks anymore. I want to see all that improved. And with some of the screenshots that they showed, I can see the differences already, even with the character models getting additional shadows, more dynamic lighting going on in the environment. Like that stuff is going to look really good. And so I'm going to play through it again this summer when it comes out, as well as the expansion. I'm getting that. I thought Sifu looked really good. And I haven't been a fan of Slow Clap. Slow Clap is the developer for Sifu. They also did Absolver. Yeah. And I thought Absolver had potential, but it just couldn't. It didn't draw me in. Sifu seems like they took all that feedback they got from Absolver and they definitely addressed all those things with this game. This game looks like a movie. It looks like a martial arts movie to me, and I like how the combat looks. I like how you're using the environment and also in how you're doing some of the moves and like knocking someone into the wall or a table, slamming their head into the table, kicking people off a balconies. It looks awesome. I'm all into it. And there was that. I got to see Kingdom Bridge of Spirits again, which is that's like my sleeper hit of 2021 is Kena. And I got to see some of my concerns with it about, what is Ember Lab, the animation studio, know about game development kind of stuff. Can they do gameplay good? Some of that kind of got addressed with them showing more gameplay and allowing us to see how the game design works and how the gameplay and combat will actually be. So I enjoyed that. And look, overall, I thought it was a decent show for what State of Play is. I know what State of Play is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be E3. It's not supposed to be PSX or anything like that. It's State of Play. So I thought for State of Play, it was good.
Yeah, I agree. I gave it like a 7.5. They showed content that I was interested in. And they kind of, just laid up what the expectations down prior to, the show. They said they're going to talk about 10 games. It was going to be stuff that was already that we knew about, and a few new announcements or whatever. And Sifu was the big new game that was announced, and they talked about the stuff they were adding to PlayStation Plus, which that initiative has been pretty good. So overall, for a 30-minute show, kind of end their fiscal quarter, get people excited for what they had coming in the next year. I think they did pretty well for what it was.
I agree. Now let's hear it, Forte. Let's go. Come on.
Let's hear it. I actually didn't mind the State of Play.
Really?
No, I mean,
I was anticipating the fight. I had my knife behind my back.
Your knife out? No, I listen. This is the thing. Over the course of the beginning of this generation that I try to stick with the most, these companies tell you what they're going to do. Don't expect more from what these companies are saying they're going to do, and you won't be disappointed like that. I do understand that people want to see newer games. If I want to go down a thing that I probably didn't like the most is the fact that they didn't show anything really new. Sifu was the one thing they showed, which was actually really refreshing. But I do know people are tired of seeing the same games over and over and over again. We're seeing Crash Bandicoot and Abe's Odyssey. We're seeing games that they've been talking about for quite some time, Returnal and everything like that. And that's fine. And I think that's the thing that kind of drives people nuts when it comes to this, especially when you got all these people here trying to defend the flag of Sony. And I think that's probably part of the problem that they're having. The fact that we actually got a release date for Kena Bridge of Spirits Spirits was another really good one. The game's only going to be $40, not $70. So I was very happy with what I saw from State of Play. It basically was an in and out move. They gave us the information that we needed for the stuff that was coming up for the end of their quarter, for their physical year. And just like you, Slow-Mo, Final Fantasy was the biggest thing that really hit for me. It gave me more ideas on what could possibly be going on with the rest of the game and stuff. So for the most part, I understand why people are upset, because they keep saying the same things over and over and over again, but they told you it wasn't going to be anything drastically new. Just going to be a recap of all the things that's getting ready to either come out or coming out soon. And from what they showed, I was very pleased with. And I think it just mostly just comes down to, are any of these games that you're interested in? If you're not interested in them, then you're probably disappointed that they didn't show anything else. But I'll fight anybody, especially with Kina, because I feel like that game is like what Zelda could look like, and I'm very excited to see what that game's going to be when it finally does release in August. And that's probably the only downside for me. The game doesn't come out till August. I was kind of hoping that it would come out like in May or June. But the fact that I finally got a release date on it, and it's only a $40 game, not saying that if it was a $70 game, I wouldn't buy it, but it's nice to know that we ain't got to spend $70 for every game for PlayStation. But outside of that, the show was good.
Yeah, I actually think it's that price because I think it's going to be a short game. I'm thinking anywhere between like 8 to 12 hours at the most would be like the yeah, I'm fine with that. Like I've played games that were like a 4-hour game before and really enjoyed it. Like what remains for Edith Finch. That's a 4-hour game, but great story. Really enjoyed the experience. Would recommend it to anyone that's into a good story and wants to try it out. 4-hour game.
You play Resident Evil 2. That game's like 6 hours.
Right. Yeah, Resident Evil 2. Yeah. Resident Evil 3 remake was 6 hours as well, 6-7 hours ish. So like people get into, it's funny because it seems like people cap for really long games, but then you got the camp that really don't care for that kind of stuff. Like I have games that are extremely long to complete, and they sit on my backlog because I'm like, I just don't have the time for this. I don't want to stop playing the other games that I'm playing to dedicate to completing this one game. And I know that's just me. There are other people who feel differently and love that kind of stuff, but I'm still playing through Persona 4 Gold. I've been playing through that game for almost like since it came out last summer on PC. I've been playing through that. I'm still playing through that game. I'm playing through Trails of Cold Steel 1. I'm playing through other RPGs I got listed here. Oh my gosh. Look, I can't even name them all.
So the question is this. Now that especially since you guys both have PCs, if you're interested in Ken, are you going to buy it on PS5 just because you have a PS5, or are you going to play it on PC, Slow-Mo? I'm
playing it on PC. Why?
That's
would
why
I buy it on PS5? That's why I'm asking. Look and play better on my PC. It's not even a question. I'm offended that you even would ask me this question.
Listen, there are going to be people that are going to be asking like, yo, Slow-Mo, are you going to buy this on PS5? I know it's coming out on PC. Are you going to buy it on PS5 just so you have something to say you can play on your PS5?
Well, no. I don't care about that.
People need to chill out with that narrative.
Because you already know that's the question that's going to happen. I'm letting him get his information out there so people won't be asking him in this video when he starts talking about
I would say the only thing, and I still haven't got the answer to this question. I've asked Ember Lab this multiple times, and they have on Twitter, and they have not responded. The only thing that might make me think about getting it on PS5 is if so they talked about the features that the DualSense controller has for this game.
Yes.
If I play with the DualSense controller on PC, do I get those same features in that? Because if I don't, if the DualSense responds differently to tension and holding the bow and the haptic feedback, and all that stuff is different on PC than it is on PS5, then I might get it on PS5 at that point. I'm not certain. I need to see how it performs on both platforms before I make my decision. But if the DualSense on PC has the same features as it does on the PS5, no question, PC all day.
Okay. Same for you, B.
I'm double dipping, man. I'm buying a game on console and PC.
Hey,
my kids will play it on the PlayStation in the living room, and then I'll have it on PC. But I'm double dipping, like a game like that where, you know what I mean, it's already at a lower price point than probably what most people expected.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean, if it actually delivers, I'm definitely double dipping, man.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to
before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think we actually going to see, you know, because, you know, like you said, Slow-Mo, people were kind of complaining that, you know, we kept seeing the same games that we saw before or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Should people temper their expectations for this year just because everything that's been going on in the world? A lot of games have been delayed, you know, from last year. They've already been delayed to 2022. You know what I mean? So people temper their expectations of, you know, seeing these big gigantic games this year.
I hate telling people to temper their expectations for anything, but I never thought any of these games, especially for PlayStation, was coming out this year. I didn't think the new Horizon Zero Dawn is coming out this year. I don't think. Well, maybe Horizon was probably on the outside looking in. I never believed God of War was coming out this year. So
I still don't think God of War is a full game.
I don't. I think
like
it's
super cagey around it, and I don't think that's a full game.
Exactly. Now, now that might be the only way they can get it out this year is the fact that it's because they did say they were working on a DLC experience, and if they just said that the DLC experience got to the point where it got so big that they just wanted to make it its own standalone thing, like they did with Lost Legacy, then I can kind of see them releasing that at the end of this year, beginning of next year. But look, man, it's not good out here, man. It's a lot of people are still learning how to communicate with their teams at home, and then it's still a really big thing that these systems are not available for you to just walk into a store and buy. Like they've been saying April for the longest, but the closer and closer, like we're in March, and that's a month away. And they're still not saying anything about what the availability of these systems are going to be. We still keep hearing shortages on chipsets and everything. And who knows? And trust me, they don't want to put out these billion-dollar games that have the possibility of making so much money that they can recoup the cost on that game and the next 3 games they make. And they don't want to do that, and they don't have people out there that are able to even buy the games. I mean, I do know they're going to be available on PlayStation 4, and they're going to be available on the original Xboxes and stuff like that. But listen, these companies want to show off the new shiny tech that they got. And I think until they can get these systems readily available into people's hands, it's going to be more of the game needs more polish, and we're just going to keep pushing and holding back until they can actually get enough of these systems in people's hands to actually build on the promise that they have for these systems. So don't temper your expectations, but don't believe that these games that you're looking forward to are going to release this year. Kind of look towards the beginning of 2022 for that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, when it comes to releases, definitely prepare to be disappointed. When it comes to shows, I think we need to stop having outlandish expectations of shows that they already told you what it was supposed to be. So if they told you what the show is supposed to be, don't be all mad. Man, you didn't show factions. I mean, why are you? It's a 1 out of 10 because you ain't show factions. Like did they even give you any indication that they were going to be showing factions at the show? Like it's just stop it, people. Stop it. Come on. But let's I know we getting there to, we got like our last half hour. I want to do maybe a little bit of quick rapid fire with some of these topics real quick. Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics makes a really baffling decision with the Avengers. Okay, so to get into it here, Jason Schreier came out earlier this morning and was saying that Marvel's Avengers, a service-based game that has struggled to keep players, is deciding to add more grind and make leveling harder. And the developers are warning players to get in their levels now. What? Okay, all right. So you're a looter shooter, right? And you are struggling to get people to play your game because you don't have any content. Okay. So your idea right before you finally give them some content to play is to make it harder, make the grind even grindier. Like, what? Who is making these decisions? This is like, it is ridiculous. Almost as like they want the game to die. They wanted to die. They like, why are the very few people who are playing this game still playing it? Let's get them up out of here. You know what? Leveling's harder now. What you going to do? Oh, they still here? They still here? All right. We're just going to start taking players away, taking your loot away. Like, please stop playing our game, because that's the way it seems to me. I don't know. What do you guys think here? It seems to me like they don't want you to play the game. What do you think, B?
I think this is baffling because Square Enix is publishing the Avengers game, and it's being made directly from one of their in-house studios, and they're also publishing Outriders, which is a game that the Avengers should have been. The Avengers should have never been a live service game. They should have just made a decent campaign where they introduce all the characters, and as they add additional characters, they could have made an event around it. You know what I mean? And did, 4-hour story campaigns or whatever, or 3-hour story campaigns around each new character, and still just had, great quality in-game content. And everybody would have been happy. What they have right now is a joke, and that's why nobody's playing it.
Big facts.
It's simple as that.
Forte, what do you think, man?
The same thing I thought when they first announced this game, and then they started telling people about DLC and how Spider-Man was going to be exclusive to one platform, and I was like, "Yo, you might not even be people be playing this game when Spider-Man comes out."
This is why when people was like, "Hey, Slow-Mo, are you gonna get it on PlayStation because of Spider-Man?" I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be playing this game when Spider-Man comes out.
When he comes out.
So I'm going to play it where it'll perform best. If Spider-Man was going to be a part of it, like at launch, then I would have got it on PlayStation, knowing I was going to get a PlayStation 5 and I could play it then, right? But no, Spider-Man coming out sometime in 2021. In the meantime, this game looking mid. In the meantime, I don't know whether this game is even going to have legs in 2021, which it don't.
Nope.
Man, I'm playing this on PC where I can play it at a higher frame rate than whatever trash frame rate was going on my PlayStation 4, which was 30 or in sub 30 with the way that engine runs. So nah.
So the biggest problem I had when the game got released is I tried to tell people, I was like, listen. The game is coming out at the wrong time. It's not the fact that the game is a game of services. What the problem is, like the ship has sailed on what Marvel was when it came to trying to tie a substantial game to what the Avengers is. It's just like anything else. If you're not striking while the iron is hot, what do you think?
Wait. I disagree.
No. Wait. Hold on.
The MCU is still
the
a
MCU.
major draw.
But they tried to say. Remember when they kept saying that they would have special events and stuff where people would come back to the game because of things that happened in the world of Marvel and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, please tell me when you're going to actually have time to build certain mechanisms inside of different shows to make people want to go back and play your game. Like WandaVision vision is really, really good. Why haven't we have anything that tied towards the game in that regard?
Yeah. Where's my beautiful Black Queen Monica Rambeau in the Avengers game? I wanted to be turning into energy and whooping people's behind with Monica Rambeau. Where's she at? Nope, you ain't got her, huh?
She ain't there. So that was the
you
problem
ain't got
I had.
Scarlet Witch in there. You ain't got Vision. You literally have nothing of WandaVision in the Avengers game. They literally only came out with
is it Hawkeye
Bishop
release?
Hawkeye's next.
Hawkeye's
your
next.
First two DLC characters are two archers. What? It's like, what? Why you got the Hawkeye wannabe and then you got Hawkeye?
Well, that's because they tried to dive into the whole Tomb Raider thing with bows and archery and stuff, and they said, "Well, we know people love bows and we know they love archery and all that other stuff."
These are two non-powered Avengers that
I agree.
Back to back, they both do the same thing. You should have broke it up. You should have had all right, you want to do Kate Bishop first? Cool, have her first. Then have maybe Spider-Man for the PlayStation community next. Maybe have a different Avenger after that. Then follow up with Hawkeye. Don't go two archers back to back. It almost seems like they were just trying to. Whoever is ready to go first is who we're putting out there. And it just so happened to be them two.
But that was definitely
they could have just took their time and released just 3 or 4 of them at a time and just built a small story around it, and then that's how they integrate into the Avengers game, because there's so many characters that they need to add to this game. And
well they're kind of doing that though. There is with Kate Bishop, because I did reinstall it just to kind of do the Kate Bishop stuff, and I ended up uninstalling it before I even got through with it. But there is a new base, a new hub area for the be at, and then there's new story mission stuff that centers around Kate Bishop of how she's on the team. So they're kind of doing that, which is kind of close to what you're saying. But the fact that it took this long for them, Kate Bishop came out man, I don't even know when that came out. It wasn't almost immediately right after launch or anything, but it wasn't it wasn't early or soon after launch either. So it wasn't very, very soon. So I mean, that wasn't a ton of content that it would take you so long to get it completed. Well, at least it doesn't seem so to me. It just seems like Crystal Dynamics really bit off more than they could chew with doing this, which typically happens when a development studio gets into a different genre and they never actually worked in before, in one genre where it requires a ton of content to keep people engaged. And
that wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah. Another topic we had is, all right, so Epic Games buys Mediatonic, the developer for Fall Guys. Apparently, they came out and said that don't worry, the game is still going to be available on all the other platforms that it's coming out on. They're not pulling the game off of those platforms because it seems like Epic has learned from Microsoft when it comes to why lose revenue unnecessarily off of a property that you just acquired. But what do you guys think about them buying Fall Guys? And what do you think about Epic turning into a major publisher?
This is nothing new. They've been, ever since they started the whole Epic Game Store and they started going head to head with Steam, with just trying to get as many people on their platform as possible, not buying out, but giving people way more of a cut of their.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Look at who just commented.
Erodimus in the house.
Erodimus computer component update. I got scammed, but I got my money back, bro. Okay, so for context, for those who were not here,
too.
This was about 3 weeks ago. Erodimus was in the chat and was like, "Guys, I got a 2080 Ti for $90," and we were just like, "Huh?" That's not even not even in pre-pandemic time. That was just ridiculous, and we were just like, "Dude, it's a scam."
What corner he got that off of,
bruh? The website. I'm not even gonna tell you the website because I think the website is a hack. I think they probably rooting all through my computer right now. But he sent us the link, and I'm looking at it, I'm just like, dude, like these reviews don't even link to anything. It was like I'm like, this is not real. Like in a time where a 2060 is like $500 on eBay. There's no way a 2080 Ti for $90. And I'm just like, yo, he ordered it. So we were like, all right, when we need to know what you actually got when it arrived. So Erasmus, please tell us what, because he told us like sometime last week, but we didn't have the show last week, that he got it in, but he hadn't opened it yet. Please tell us what was in the box. I think my theory, I can't remember what Forte's theory was. My theory was it was going to be a GPU, or it was going to be a graphics card, but it was going to be something like a 980. Or
it's gonna be a voodoo card.
If he got a picture of a 2080 Ti, I'm gonna cry. It's gonna be, he didn't get anything, so it was nothing in the box. It was just like a bunch of just junk, like nothing in there at all.
He got the shell of a 2080 Ti with no insides, no heat.
God damn, he got a shell.
Oh man,
I'm just happy you got your money back, brother.
What was he thinking?
You're trying to make that come up, man.
Oh, Robert, I'm not gonna. We got too many topics. I don't want to take too much time with that. So like maybe we can get you on for like a few minutes next week, and you can run us down to give us the rundown on you opening your package and what happened. But we'll make that a mystery for next week of what what Erasmus got for his $90 2080 Ti. My bad. Hey, go ahead, Forte. Go ahead, continue, man.
No, you just made my day with that one. No, but what were we talking about? Because that just threw everything off.
We're talking about Epic Games, Mediatonic, and then also, what do you think about them turning into a major publisher?
Oh yeah. So
and
like I said,
and who else would they acquire? Do you think they'll acquire?
Now, who else they could acquire could be? I mean, it could be anybody, honestly.
I got two, but I'll let you go ahead first.
No, because I have no idea. I haven't really been looking. Because when I saw that they acquired them, I was like, okay, so they're even more into the inquiring of talent than I thought they was. Because I thought the biggest thing was with Epic, it was basically just get as many people in their storefront as possible. And I thought that was their major move. I do know that they do want to have content for their, that they don't have to spend extra money to actually bring over. But I didn't think they actually was going to go any deeper than they actually had been going, because they've been doing a really good job, which is enticing a bunch of developers to bring their game over to Epic for a year and then pay them more money for that game and then let it release on other platforms later on. This basically just shows me that they are in it for a lot more than just building a ecosystem for people to play their games just in the Epic store. It's a little bit deeper involved into that. So sky is honestly the limit, because I haven't really been looking to see who other developers they've been partnering with. I mean, I do know Sony has a lot of not a lot of influence, but they have some influence because of the fact that they put a lot of money into Epic. And I can see a lot of the games that have been releasing from from Sony, have been going to the Epic store first. With the exception of Horizon Zero Dawn, I know that game did release on Steam before it went anywhere else. But I do remember games like Death Stranding and Detroit Become Human, they both released on Epic before they released anywhere else. So that might also be another stepping stone that you're going to start seeing with that relationship with Sony putting so much money into Epic, that you can see a lot of their games releasing there before you see them go anywhere else first, which could be, inherently a really great thing for Epic to build their game front versus how Steam is being dealt. So sky's the limit. I'm really interested to hear what you got to say, because I know you've been paying attention to it a lot more than I have.
All right, I'll get to my theory of their next acquisitions in a moment. I want to hear what B thinks first.
But for me, I kind of called this when they, first kind of jumped out the window and started the Epic Store, and they kind of laid out what their plans were.
I remember that. I remember you talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of figured that they would be kind of heading down this route, and then once they bought the Rocket League, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing. Fall Guys isn't really a surprise to me because it did kind of come out of nowhere, and it gained a lot of players or whatever, and it was only on PlayStation, right?
It was a PS Plus game, I think, right?
Right.
Yeah, and it was also on PC as well.
Yeah,
of course, on Steam. Yeah.
So, didn't they just announce it was going into the Switch or something like that?
It is. Yeah, they did. The last Nintendo Direct, they did announce it was going to Switch. It's also going to Xbox as well.
Right.
So it's basically on everything at this point.
Yeah. So now it's going to hit all platforms. And it's still not free to play yet. So, that's just extra revenue that'll be coming in there. And then once they hit that switch to go free to play, all the cosmetics and stuff that they can put in there, I would assume that they will treat this very similar to what they've done with Fortnite. And
right.
Every character you could probably imagine, there'll be some sort of skin and Fall Guys. And, with this added revenue, they can, make bigger courses and have different type of challenges and everything. So, I think it's a win-win for both sides. But as far as like their, future acquisitions, there's a couple different ways they could go. I would think that, since they've been working with Remedy, that it could be a possibility.
That was one of my choices. I think they actually did a 3-game contract with Remedy.
So that's basically like a 10-year plan, basically.
Exactly. And at that point, you might as well just acquire them because they're, you're publishing them for the next decade, especially if I don't know if it'll be like that very soon, but if that first game they publish for them is a hit, I can see them just saying, you know what, let's just go ahead and make this official.
Yeah.
I that's why I kind of think my other one is actually Quantic Dream, who also has signed a contract for
3 games.
think 3 games with Epic as well. So I kind of feel like Epic is looking at both of these developers. They see the talent that they have, and they see that if we give them the funding that they need, they could really provide some exclusive content that we could gate to the Epic Game Store and then put on consoles as well. As a major publisher, keep it out of the way of Steam, help get us some more market share away from Steam. And if they really work out, we can just go ahead and lock that up, and we could definitely, start building a stable of first-party games there. I think that's where they're definitely going. I think there'll be some other studios that we haven't even thought about yet, because where did Mediatonic acquiring Mediatonic come from? Like, that's just completely left field.
It was left field.
But to get to a couple more before we get to another major topic, the Elden Ring leak came out a little while ago. I'm not into From Software games. Don't know if you guys are. What did you guys think about that?
From that grainy ass
leak
that they released,
the 144p resolution. What did you guys think about what you saw?
It definitely looked interesting. It looks like a From Software game. The one thing that I was kind of hoping for is that it may not be as difficult as far as going to boss running, basically. I was hoping that it tell more of a story, just because of all the people that are behind it, and it looks like it possibly could, but it's kind of hard to say from what they leaked or whatever.
Forte, what about you? What did you think of it?
All I know is that the game was supposedly canceled, and then the game wasn't canceled, and then the game was canceled again, and people saying they need to come out and talk about how I guess they're gonna have to talk about why the game is finally canceled. But
what? When did you hear the game was canceled?
The Elden Ring? You ain't hear about the news where they thought the game was canceled for a while?
No, Dying Light 3. I mean, Dying Light 2. There was all this talk of that game potentially being canceled because of all the Techland drama. But
that drama was crazy. Yeah, there was. Oh man, I gotta find this.
Yeah.
Oh, and they, man, look, hey, yo, software sniped them. They took his soul. They took his soul, man. It was like, yo, you gonna shut up with all that. But no, look, I'm not even into From Software games. I thought it was interesting. I have no thoughts on it whatsoever. It looked really grainy, and I know they came out and said, hey, look, the current build looks way better than that. So I'm gonna take them for their word. I mean, From Software has a lot hardcore fans, and Forte's back. Let me get them back in here. But hey, man, they sniped you. You all right, bro?
Yeah, they sniped me. No, so listen. So this happened. I remember now that's my fault. This happened when I was in my in the flux capacitor, and then the world moving. The world was moving really, really fast around me. No, you're absolutely right. That was the Dying Light stuff that I was thinking of with Elden Ring. No, Elden Ring, I didn't even get a chance to even see what the heck was going on with that game because it was all during that last week. So I'm basically gonna lean on you guys on that one.
Yeah, but just to catch you up, it looked really grainy. It looked really bad, and the dev came out and said, "Hey, look, man, it don't really look like this right now. Our current build looks way better than this, and trust us, please." And so we've seen various bits of it of different lengths come out. Pause. And
different lengths,
but I think at some point before the year is out, we're going to get like an official trailer at some point. But I don't think this is a game that's coming out anytime soon, unfortunately.
Oh wow, I see what you're talking about. This looks terrible. Do they have any type of gameplay where it's actually on screen and not off screen shot?
No, and that's the I've seen. No, it's all been some cell phone, some razor phone from like the early 2000s.
They couldn't even do a good enough job of shooting the make the screen at least straight. It's like every day I'm looking at it, my neck hurt just looking at it. No, that looked terrible. I know that developer came out. I know when they came out, it was like, yo, listen, our game don't look like that.
Right. We got some Halo Infinite screenshots, some more of those. They look great.
Ooh,
again, I'm gonna say what I said before. And I'll pass it on to you guys. Like still shots look nice. I want to see actual full motion video here. I want to see the game running before I can say, okay, you're definitely improving on what you have, which I'm probably going to see that at some point, because the game's supposed to come out later this year. So, B, what did you think about it, man?
Yeah, them still shots don't mean nothing to me. Until we see the game running, that's all I care about.
Facts.
I mean, like they look cool. You know what I mean? They definitely look improved based on what they showed us last year. But you know what I mean? I want to see the game. I want to get my hands on the game. I'm hoping that they announce some sort of beta, during E3 week or whatever. And we actually get a chance to get our hands on the game. Because, with it supposedly being free to play and, so many more people being able to get the game within that, I think they definitely test those servers with time.
So you starting to break up there, man.
Say what?
I said you were starting to break up there. We couldn't hear you for a moment.
Oh, okay. What was the last thing you heard? My bad.
You know what? I'm sorry. I think I like your last 15 seconds was real garbled.
Oh, okay. No, I was just saying that I feel like they should give us a beta sometime during E3 and then just let us test the servers just because it's supposed to be a free to play game.
Yeah.
With, everyone be able to access it without that barrier of cost.
Mm-hmm.
We should be able to at least get in there a couple of times before it releases and check it out.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to happen. They did. I saw there was a sign up through. Is it Halo Insider or Halo Waypoint?
It's Halo Waypoints.
Yeah, where you can sign up to be a part of that, so you have opportunity to be in the beta.
Halo Infinite flight.
Yeah, so I definitely signed up for that because I definitely want to try the beta ahead of time. So they're definitely going to do that. I can't wait for that. Actually, I really want to get into the multiplayer because that's going to be a major focus for that game, and whether it has legs or not in the future. Outside of just the campaign and that being good. Plus, they're supposed to be kind of live servicey anyway, so they really need to nail that in order to get people invested enough to even be around when the live service stuff starts. So, but just to get to our last topic of tonight, and this is going to be a juicy one, I think. Rumored details of the Switch Pro. So Bloomberg came out with a report saying that they have information on the Switch Pro, or what we call the Switch Pro. Fairly certain Nintendo is not going to call it that. I don't know what Forte is doing there right now.
Just getting ready for this conversation.
You're getting limber over there, huh? It says so. Some of the details here is that it is a 7-inch Samsung rigid OLED screen. OLED, which, okay, that's interesting. But it's 720p resolution. So the 720p resolution in screen. So that's what you have in handheld mode. Screen's a little bit bigger than what the current Switch is. But when in docked mode, when it's docked, it's going to be supposedly 4K. Now, they haven't explained 4K how, like native 4K, dynamic, checkerboard, whatever, it's supposed to be 4K. And that this is supposed to be coming out later this year. I'm gonna withhold my opinion until you guys go. Forte, what do you think about
Of course you're gonna hold your opinion till we go, because you want to be able to poke holes in everything that we gonna say.
Me?
Yes, you.
Why would I do such a thing? No.
Oh Lord. Listen, okay.
Let us know how you feel, bro.
Okay, so 720p for the screen. That's not a problem for me because the Vita was a 720p screen, and people will tell you that the Vita screen when it first came out was pretty freaking phenomenal. Okay. It was like one of the best things about that screen was it was 720p and it was an OLED.
Back then, what were the resolutions of the games back then for the most part?
Listen, slow-mo.
Answer the question. What was the resolution
of the games now?
It wasn't 4K back then.
It wasn't okay. Most of the games ain't 4K still.
Our eyes were adjusted.
Slow-mo, you do realize when you're playing on a screen that is only 7 inches wide, that something being displayed at even 1080p on a 720p screen looks sharp and incredible, right? You do realize that, right?
Sharp and incredible. And 720p are never in the same sentence together.
Hey, listen, yes, they were when it came to. Also, are you trying to say that you didn't enjoy the visual fidelity that you got off of your Vita in 2013 or whatever? I don't know.
What I'm saying is that it's 2021, and how I thought games looked amazing back in the day are not how I look at those games today, sir. So.
They just said the screen is 720. I just think that the screen is 720. Listen, I just think. Listen. I can't say that for certain. If for them not to raise the price as much as people think that the price of the system needs to be raised, if they can make it an OLED 720p screen for when you're playing in dock mode, not dock mode, when you're playing in handheld mode, which would be better than what you have now. It would be literally better than what you have now, and they don't raise the price of it. I think that's a win.
Completely outdated. So just because it's a little bit better,
is it better?
It's a little bit better.
Slow-mo. If it's a better screen and the games run at a higher resolution than they ran, listen,
Samsung OLED, it's definitely a better screen than the LCD they got in there right now. Just by sheer fact of what the technology is, it's better.
Right, it's better. Meaning people are going to go out.
Meaning it's acceptable. Okay, just because a man tells his wife that he's cheated on with like 6 women. That hey, look, man,
where's this?
I'm not going to do this no
coming
more.
from?
I'm only going to cheat on you with 1. That's better than the 6, but it's still not good. Okay, you're still doing wrong.
That makes absolutely no sense, Slow-mo.
Yeah, it makes great sense.
No, it doesn't.
You have to understand that Nintendo is cheating on you guys. Like, I don't know where I'm going with this. Like,
I don't know where you're going. You lost me.
This is what I know is that Nintendo could do better. That's all I'm saying.
Well, of course they could do better, Slow-mo.
1080p. If it was a 1080p screen, I would not complain. I just got a Samsung S21 5G. It's a 1080p.
How much did you pay for that phone?
About 600-700. This phone here, the screen's great. It's not amazing, but it's great. And this is a smaller screen than what the Switch screen would be.
Okay. What did you play your Switch games on? How did you play your Switch games when you had your Switch?
Almost always docked.
So this would be non and void for you.
Well, I don't have a Switch anymore anyway.
Well, I'm saying, but this will be non and void because, like they said, 720p when it comes to the screen when you're playing on the OLED, but it will be up to 4K if you dock it, which will be the bigger benefit that most people would care about the most. The people that will be into because most Nintendo people don't care about the resolution stuff of the game. They don't. Let's be for real. Most Nintendo people don't care what the resolution of the game looks like. They just care that they're playing Nintendo. Listen, let me finish what I'm saying. Most Nintendo people just want to play Nintendo games. For the people that's going to go out and spend more money, the more people are going to go. The people that are going to go out and spend money on this are the people that care about what the experience looks like if they hook it up to their TV. Let's be for real. Somebody Forte. Like you.
Okay, we're gonna be for real, Forte. Nintendo, you would hear Nintendo fans say, "I don't care about not having messaging. I don't care about not having achievements."
Do they really
I don't care about not having real online. I don't care about not being able to have voice chat on my Switch. They'll say all these things that they don't care about when they don't even have the choice to have it. Some of them are Nintendo only fans, and some of them have never actually experienced some of the things they say they don't even care about. And it's easy to say you don't care about something that you never experienced. A virgin will say, "But sex is overrated." Yeah, you're a virgin. You never even had it before. What are you talking about? You have no experience.
No, because you know what? No, you're not going to get away with that.
No fans, and it works because
you're not getting away with that
anyway. Boom. So it doesn't make that analogy works perfectly for them.
No, it doesn't, because you make it seem like every Nintendo fan out here is just playing on Nintendo only that care about the stuff that you're talking about.
There are a lot of Nintendo fans that only do that. We just don't hear from them because they never engage in any of the other people of the community because they just like Nintendo.
Slow-mo, listen, it's fine. It's fine to I understand how you feel about the situation with Nintendo and how they just get over on their fans. And I'm with you on that. But guess what? These people that you're talking about don't care. They don't care about not being able to have voice chat and all this stuff on their Switch, because guess what? The people that do care about that, they use the Switch as something completely separately, something different. They don't use it as their mainstay system that they got to have all their achievements. Now, achievements is the one thing, if you would have said achievements, I agree with you 100% on that, because I think Nintendo has just dropped the ball on achievements. Everybody should always want achievements.
They continue to drop the ball on it because nobody
speaks up for
actually holds them accountable for not providing something that would improve of their gaming experience on that platform. And likewise with the screen resolution nonsense, people are like, 720p, That's
no,
all
no,
right.
no, no. They don't care.
Like,
they don't care about the resolution of the screen.
I think
they care about
people
the
won't
experience.
care because the Switch. It's not like the Switch is 1080 and it's going down to 720.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so if you're cool with whatever the Switch is right now, and the new Switch is a better upgrade, then it's like, all right, cool. It's better than what we got right now.
Exactly.
Like, it'd be different if it was a downgrade, like where, you know what I mean, it was a super AMOLED, screen, and now you're going back to an LCD screen, and people be like, yo, what the hell?
We're going back to the dark ages.
Yeah, but since it's a slight upgrade, it's like, okay, cool.
That's why I said the biggest upgrade is going to be the fact that the people that are everybody's not going to go out and get this thing. The funny thing is the Nintendo purists don't care about a Switch Pro. They don't care about this upgrade that we're talking about. The people that care about this for all of us people that like me, like B Money probably gonna go out there and get one.
I gotcha. Okay, so do we want to play on 720p screen?
I'm not gonna play on 720p. I'm gonna play. The only reason I'm buying is to hook it up and play at 4K if that's the case on the screen when it's hooked up to my TV.
So here's the next question. You really think this dock, this 4K?
I think it's gonna be like, the same thing we see with these consoles.
Is it gonna be better than what we got?
It's gonna be 4K light. It's gonna be 4K up-res. It's gonna be 4K puzzle piece. You know what I mean? Like
4K puzzle piece.
You know what I mean? We're gonna get some sort of 4K. It might not be
the outline of the screens in 4K, but the interior is 1080p.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The title screen of every game gonna be in 4K. But once you press start, it's
the dashboard, and the hello screen is gonna be at 4K.
Yeah,
better than what the Xboxes is in. That's a 1080p.
We have to. The reason why I'm so skeptical is that I would not be skeptical if Nintendo was making a traditional console. Then, if
they were making a different console, you'll be like, they messing up. Slow mo. You said they messing up.
Hold on, let me finish. I would say that with these kind of targets, that you could build a box, a closed system that can house the NVIDIA architecture to handle that and get it done. At this point, I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, so you want 4K docked, 720p handheld, but 4K docked? Okay, so what is this a different dock than what you've been giving people already? That's the first question. If it is, what's in that dock that is allowing it to go up to 4K? Some other questions I would have is that when it comes to the architecture of NVIDIA, you're looking at a bare minimum Turing here if you want 4K. Now, maybe Pascal, but I think that you will want to go Turing because the whole point of having a Switch Pro is to try to keep up and make sure with Xbox and Sony, and to make sure that you can still get those third-party games, because this is a different generation for Sony. Nintendo, where previously it was always just their first party. That's the only thing on the system that was worth getting. Everything else third party was table scraps. Now with the Switch, it being handheld, it being people being able to play a game that they would normally only be able to play in their living room or on their PCs, on consoles and PC, they can play that same game or some version of it that's close to it on handheld, out and about, doing whatever. And that is something that I think they want to continue to keep. And so in order to do that, you have to keep up with the Joneses. You need to get your system up there, because quite frankly, some of the developers that come out and we're saying, hey, look, this ain't it. Like,
I don't want to hear about these developers. This ain't it, but they still release their games on the platform.
Listen to what these developers were saying in regards to questions about can the current Switch keep up with what Xbox Series X and PS5 is doing, and they're just like, I think it was Splash Damage who does a lot of the ports for these games, for these third party, big games onto the Switch, was like, I'm not trying to do like almost like yo, look, like it's going to be a lot of work to try to even make that work. Now, when you have a Switch Pro that can do that, there's that possibility, and so that's where I think if this is going to happen, it's going to be a touring architecture, like a cut down 2060 with not as many CUDA cores as the discrete GPU, of course, but like even a cut down version of the mobile 2060 that will go into a laptop, like something that's already built and designed for a smaller form factor where there's limited space and limited vents to vent out the excess air, hot air. And I think that's something that they need to do, but they also need to do they need to design it better than they did the current Switch, because the current Switch, even at its level, I like when I had one, I didn't want to hold the thing playing some games. The thing was running hot, super hot. So I'm like, yo, where's my Pro controller? Because this thing's burning my fingers. So yeah, like that, like DLSS has to be a part of the solution, so that 2 years from now we're not in the same situation where like Nintendo got to do another upgrade, because this ain't getting it.
2 years from now, Nintendo come out with another system.
Yeah, maybe that's a possibility too. But that's just my thoughts on it. Do you guys think DLSS is going to be a part of this Switch Pro?
I think Nintendo is going to go as far as they need to go to make sure that their games run the way that they want them to run. If Nintendo wants their first-party games to run in a native 4K when they're docked to a TV, that's as far as they're going to go. That's what I think you're going to get. And people may think that's crazy and that's wrong, but let's be for real. Nintendo has never been in this for third party. They've only been in it for themselves. Third party follows what Nintendo, if they want to follow what Nintendo is doing, and it just comes to happen to be that Nintendo has a really successful system out there, and these third parties decide, even though they want to cry about it, that these games this system ain't it. Who in the right mind who's going to compare Xbox Series X or PS5 to a freaking 2017 Nintendo Switch? Who's going to compare those things? What developer is going to actually be in the right frame of mind to compare those two systems and say, can they even compare to each other? Absolutely, because Nintendo don't care about what you think. They just care about our games running on the system and how are our games going to be able to be developed for. Once that is decided, then they just let developers bring the games that they want to bring over to the system that's going to natively just work on it. And guess what? And to an extent, Slow-Mo, you're more than likely going to be right, because they have to do certain things just to get the fidelity up on the games, just so they can make their games run the way that they need to do. So inherently, it's going to help third party just because they want to make their games run better. I do believe DLSS needs to be a big part of it, because if you're talking about a handheld system where the majority of the power is going to be housed when you're holding it in your hand, nothing's going to be impacted by the dock itself for the most part, then you need something that's going to be able to dissipate that performance gap. So when you're playing the game, you can get higher resolutions under less strenuous circumstances. But I just think at a certain point, people that are going to buy this system, they're just buying it for the minimum upgrades. They're not buying it to be blown away for, the things that they think that they can get on their PS5 and their Xbox Series X. They're not buying it for that. They're just buying to have a better experience on their Switch. And I think that's the thing that people need to kind of just not worry about, but just be more conscious of. Don't worry about buying this just because you want it to be what you already have on your next gen systems. Buy it because it's going to make your Switch experience better, because that's a completely different experience than what you have right now between any other platform.
I think totally opposite of that. Yeah,
go ahead.
I think that NVIDIA has a lot of influence over what Nintendo's doing with this next console.
That would be a plus.
And I think because Nintendo games don't need to run in 4K.
They don't.
Name me one first-party game that they make that needs to run in 4K. Not one.
Not one of them. You're right.
None of them. So I think NVIDIA is looking up over the fence, and they see all the AMD's doing. They see AMD is trying to make some noise in the gaming market. They see that the two biggest consoles on the market are both, have APUs from AMD, and NVIDIA got their taste when they had to, when they got in this relationship with Nintendo, and they did the Switch, and it became one of the fastest selling consoles on the market. And I think they realize that there's a lot of stuff that they can capitalize, in that market. They dominate the PC market. If they can't get the two big guns in the console space, then you link up with Nintendo, who is also a big gun, and can make some noise in the console space as well. So
yeah,
I think a lot of the technologies and stuff that NVIDIA has developed over the last couple of years, all that stuff can be implemented on a mobile device, and they've shown that with some of the stuff that they've been doing on their own. The cloud computing stuff, it has been really good, and DLS I think is going to be entering the next phase pretty soon. So if you can get even 2.0 on this next Switch, then that just allows them to sell more Switches. I think they also that allows them to have larger relationship with third parties, because even now the Switch doesn't get every game, and some of the biggest components of the games that they were getting from third party was Bethesda.
Yeah.
So now that Bethesda will be a first party
Microsoft,
through Microsoft, do they still have that same support? Like, are they going to get those games? So I think they have to kind of be able to take that next step because they are going to have to continue to gain more third party support. And everybody was kind of bullish on it early. EA was basically not putting any games on it.
They still don't put games out on it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. So if EA could put a real FIFA game on a Switch or a real Madden game on a Switch, you know how many microtransactions can be made?
Oh, I agree.
And so much more money that could be made on that storefront.
Yeah, put a Madden or a FIFA on a Switch, and you're allowing people to keep up with their ultimate teams on the go.
Right.
Like that's a major get. And you look at the install base of the Switch versus these new consoles, which are, still under 10 million each. Right. Or combined, they're still under 10 million. Meanwhile, the Switch is over here at 75 and growing and still outselling, although outselling because there's not enough inventory and there's a shortage of chips available to allow Sony and Microsoft to build more systems. But regardless of that, Nintendo isn't slowing down at all. And I think it will be smart for them to capitalize on this moment of being the biggest install base. You could kind of market it to, even though it's not going to happen for the majority of publishers, but market that to those publishers and say, hey, stop outsourcing your game to a secondary team and having it come out months after the launch of it on Xbox Series X and S and PS5. You need to be making it day and date on our console, because you're going to get the most sales off of us.
Right.
Especially now that we got this Switch Pro, which, may be burning people's hands, but when it's docked, it's awesome. And it's almost as good as the Xbox Series X and the PS5. Just don't touch it.
That's a dang shame, Slow-Mo.
Hey, I had to throw it in there at the end.
But Nintendo gonna find a way to get you to come back home.
Hey, provide some games that I like, and it's a done deal. I've seen so far, since I've sold my Switch, I've only seen one game, and that's Project triangle strategy. The only game on the Switch right now, maybe a little bit Bravely Default 2, but not too much. But like, I need a game that really hooks me. I gotta play this game, and if it's only on the Switch, yeah, I'll pick up a red hot Switch Pro. I'll wear some oven mitts when I play it, and we can get it in. But look, man,
do you think that's why we haven't seen them make like any major announcements as far as first party? Because we really only have seen the Breath of the Wild 2. Like, they went super cold on like the Metroid stuff. They went cold on like Bayonetta 3. Like, they made a lot of announcements, but we haven't heard anything from them in a while.
I think a lot.
I think they will make an announcement on the Switch Pro when they can actually play one without having a fire extinguisher sitting beside it. That's when they're going to make an announcement. Like, we gotta keep spraying this thing down every time we play it for longer than 5 minutes. So we need to. All right. That's the last one. I'm sorry, it's the last one. All right, but we want to wrap it up. I know it's getting a little late. It's 11:30. And I think I may be a little bit biased here, but I think we've had an awesome show. I think it's been great. I think it's been wonderful. It's been a joy having B Money here with us. A joy having all of you wonderful people in the chat with us, still rocking out with us at 11:30 at night. I appreciate every single one of you. B Money, let the fine people know where they can find you. And what you got going on as far as games that you're playing for the rest of the week.
You can find me everywhere. Same name, B Money 101. And then as far as the games that I'm playing out, I'll be on Outriders demo. I'll be on NBA 2K, so you can always find me there. And then I'm actually going to be starting 13 Sentinels this weekend, so I'll be jumping into that.
Oh, all right, yeah. 13 Sentinels is awesome. I need to finish that. I need to get back to it. It's a really cool game. I love the way it's so different with how they designed it. Like, you can really just boot it up and I just want to do battles right now, and this like story involved with all the battles, or I just want to get deep into the different stories of all these different 13 different characters. You can just do that exclusively. It's amazing. I think it's a really, really good game. But yeah, thank you for coming through again, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Anytime.
Forte, let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on your channel and what you've been playing besides Destiny.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I have actually been playing stuff other than Destiny as of recently, but it's Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live. Halo video is supposed to come out today, but I had to redo some audio syncs for part of it, and I was like, "Yep, that will be coming out tomorrow." So check that video out. 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That one will be coming out. Just going over all the stuff that Joseph Staten went over on what we will actually be playing this holiday, I guess, since Halo seems to be coming out this holiday. But yeah, that video's coming out tomorrow. I've been playing, just like pretty much everybody else has been playing a lot of Outriders, and I did start playing Godfall on PS5 because I was bored and I was like, I have this game, let me see what it's actually like. And so far so good. Not the greatest, but not horrible. I like the battle system they have in place. I'm not too keen on melee combat for the majority part of the game outside of how God of War does it. But game's actually pretty cool. I'm enjoying it as of right now. But yeah, man, this was a really, really great show. And B Money, I really appreciate you coming through. We do know one thing that you'll definitely not be doing, and is playing Enrique and what's the name, because he's never, ever going to come out of hiding. Ever.
Yeah, I don't think Enrique's ever going to play you. I think he's doing a whole lot of fronting, a whole lot of running of the mouth, but he don't want to see that work. He don't want to deal with that in 2K. We got a whole team too.
we could take the BRAP team in there, and we got 5v5 another group of people. I don't know, man. B Money might be like, y'all ain't about to embarrass me out here.
Exactly.
He's like, I can't wear the same jersey y'all wear.
I ain't played 2K in years. I can guarantee you right now, I am trash.
It's
I
fun,
am
man.
Terrible in that game.
2K's amazing. I gotta jump in there and play with you.
If you haven't played it in years, you would think like you would need like 5 hands to play 2K now.
Oh yeah, 2K's an RPG now, bro. You ain't know that?
Oh man. But with me, I got a couple of videos that I'm working on. I'm working on one of my like game developer showcase videos. This one's going to be for Arcane Studios and Deathloop.
Yeah.
I'm working on that. I'm working also on a Final Fantasy VII Remake integrate video and some theories that I got going for where Square is going in the future for part 2, as well as this expansion. And I tried to go live earlier this week with my second episode of Tales from the Borderlands, only to find out that there was some bug or something where it didn't save any of my progress for the first episode. But I got that sorted out, and I'm good to go for a second episode. So I might do that this weekend. Look out for that. It depends on how much time I have, but I'll try to get that second episode in. But other than that, that's what I got going. Games, I'm playing everything as usual. But you guys have a great night. Thank you again, the chat, for listen to us ramble on about various topics all night long. You guys are awesome. It's been a great show, and I hope you guys have a great night. Watch WandaVision. Finale is in a few hours. I think I might just wake up in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. and go watch it. But
I'll
watch
call
WandaVision.
you to wake you up.
I don't want to be spoiled, from like I wake up I'm cooking breakfast at 7 a.m, looking on Twitter, and people are like, "Oh my God, Mr. Fantastic showed up." I'm like, "Damn it!" So I'm gonna wake up super early so I can be the first one to see it. But yeah. Have a great night, and appreciate y'all. Peace out.
Peace.